When Umar ibn Khattab mentioned Abu Bakr, he would say, Abu Bakr is our leader and freed our leader, meaning Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, and a man whom Umar calls our leader is indeed a great and fortunate man. But this man, intensely dark-skinned, thin and frail, excessively tall, with thick hair and sparse sideburns, would never hear words of praise and admiration directed towards him and showered upon him without lowering his head and averting his gaze, saying with tears streaming down his cheeks, I am but a Habashi. I was a slave yesterday. So who is this Habashi who was a slave yesterday? It is Bilal ibn Rabah, the Mu'adhin, caller to prayer of Islam, and the one who troubled the idols. He is one of the miracles of faith and truth, one of the miracles of the great Islam. In every 10 Muslims, from the beginning of Islam until today, and for as long as Allah wills, we will find at least 7 who know Bilal, meaning that hundreds of millions of people across centuries and generations have known Bilal, memorized his name, and recognized his role, just as they know the 2 greatest caliphs in Islam, Abu Bakr and Umar. And you can ask a child who is still crawling in their early school years in Egypt or Pakistan or China, and in the Americas, Europe, and Russia, and in Iraq, Syria, Iran, and Sudan, in Tunisia, Morocco, and Algeria, in the depths of Africa, and on the plateaus of Asia. In every part of the earth inhabited by Muslims, you can ask any Muslim child, who is Bilal, young boy? And he will answer you, he is the Mu'adhin of the messenger, and he is the slave whose master used to torture him with scorching stones to make him renounce his religion, and he would say, one, meaning Allah is one. And when you witness this eternity that Islam granted Bilal, know that this Bilal before Islam was no more than a humble slave, tending his master's camels for handfuls of dates, until death would overtake him and cast him into the depths of oblivion. But the sincerity of his faith and the greatness of the religion he embraced earned him in his lifetime and in history an exalted place in Islam among the great, the noble, and the honorable. Indeed, many of the elite of mankind, those with status, influence, and wealth among them, have not attained even a tenth of the immortality that Bilal, the Habashi slave, achieved. Indeed, many heroes of history have not gained even a fraction of the historical fame that Bilal attained. Indeed, the darkness of his skin, the humility of his lineage and ancestry, and his insignificance in the eyes of people as a humble slave, did not prevent him, when he chose Islam as his religion, from attaining the high status that his sincerity, certainty, purity, and devotion qualified him for. All of that held no weight in the balance of his evaluation and honor, except for the element of astonishment when greatness is found in unexpected places. For people used to think that a slave like Bilal, belonging to foreign origins, with no family, no power, and owning nothing of his life, as he was the property of his master who bought him with his money, would come and go among his master's small flock, camels, and livestock. They used to think that such a being could neither achieve anything nor be anything. Then he defies all expectations, possessing a faith that few others could match. And then he becomes the first Mu'adhin of the messenger and of Islam, an honor that all the leaders and great men of Quraysh who had embraced Islam and followed the messenger wished for themselves. Yes, Bilal ibn Rabah. What heroism and what greatness do these 3 words, Bilal ibn Rabah express. He was a Habashi from the black race. Fate had made him a slave to people from the Banu Juma clan in Mecca, where his mother was one of their female slaves and bondwomen. He lived the life of a slave, his days passing in monotonous barrenness, with no rights in his present and no hope for his future. And the news of Muhammad began to reach his ears as people in Mecca started to circulate it, and as he would listen to the conversations of his masters and their guests, especially Umayya ibn Khalaf, one of the elders of Banu Juma, the tribe to which Bilal belonged as a slave. He often heard Umayya, while talking with his friends at times and members of his tribe at other times, speaking about the messenger in a manner overflowing with rage, sorrow, and malice. Bilal's ears would pick up, from amidst the words of mad fury, the qualities that depicted this new religion to him, and he felt that these qualities were new to the environment he lived in. Just as his ears would also pick up from their thundering, threatening conversations, their acknowledgement of Muhammad's nobility, truthfulness, and trustworthiness. Yes, he would hear them expressing amazement and bewilderment at what Muhammad had brought, and some of them would say to others, Muhammad was never a liar, nor a sorcerer, nor a madman, but we have no choice but to accuse him of all of that today, so that we can deter those who will hasten to his religion. He heard them talking about his trustworthiness, about his loyalty, about his manhood and character, about his integrity and soundness of mind. And he heard them whispering about the reasons that compelled them to challenge and oppose him, which were their loyalty to the religion of their forefathers first, and the fear for the glory of Quraysh secondly, that glory which its religious center as the capital of worship and piety in the entire Arabian Peninsula bestowed upon it, and then the envy of Banu Hashim, that a prophet and messenger should emerge from them and not from others. And one day, Bilal ibn Rabah saw the light of Allah and heard its resonance in the depths of his good soul. So he went to the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, and embraced Islam, and the news of his conversion to Islam quickly spread, and the world spun in the heads of his masters from Banu Juma, those heads inflated with arrogance and burdened by conceit. And the devils of the earth settled upon the chest of Umayya ibn Khalaf, who saw in the conversion of one of their slaves a slap that covered them all with shame and disgrace. Their Habashi slave embraces Islam and follows Muhammad, and Umayya said to himself, "Nevertheless, it is all right. The sun of this day will not set before the Islam of this runaway slave sets with it." But the sun never set on the Islam of Bilal. Rather, one day it set on all the idols of Quraysh and the protectors of paganism within it. Before you close this video, I want to ask you one question. Do you think these stories deserve to reach someone who's feeling lost right now? If your answer is yes, then do this immediately. 1. Tap like. It takes 1 second. 2. Write yes in the comments. Why? YouTube's algorithm cares about your comment more than your view. Your yes could literally place this video in front of a heart that needs it. I'll read every single comment. Don't just watch. Be the reason someone finds light today.